goes on.
Girl, I wanna be your owner.
I love radio, music, and more.
Yes, Media Academy Radio.
Excite.
The hits.
It's 6 o'clock from the studios of Yes Ma Radio, the First Media Academy Radio. Good evening and thank you for joining me on Yes News Now. In the headlines, $62 billion oil revenue, federal government's recovery effort suffers setback. NDDC scholarship, 10 days after Buhari's directive, students' tuition still unpaid. Tribunal affirms election of Duoye Diri as Bayelsa governor. NJC recommends appointment of 22 judges for Supreme Court and others. On the foreign scene, US 2020, Postal Service warns of delay in mail-in vote count. And from the exciting world of sport, Barcelona's Umtiti tests positive for COVID-19. Now the news in detail. Good evening, and my name is Olatunde Idowu. The federal government, through the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, SAN, may have hit a retreat from its fight to recover an estimated $62 billion in accrued revenues from some international oil majors. Malami recently stated that the expected funds had been earmarked for major ongoing infrastructural projects in the country, including the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Kano-Abuja Expressway, and the Second Niger Bridge. They're going by the Central Bank of Nigeria's current official exchange rate of 379 naira to a dollar as of yesterday. The $62 billion at stake amounts to about 23.5 trillion naira. The federal government had alleged that Shell Nigeria Exploration and Production Company Limited, the Nigerian arm of the global IOC, was responsible for $13.5 billion of the total revenues denied Nigeria. Over 10 days after President Muhammadu Buhari directed the Niger Delta Development Commission to pay the tuition fees of its 2019 scholars, the commission has yet to obey the presidential directive. Over 200 scholars had been awarded scholarship by the NDDC in 2019 to pursue postgraduate studies abroad, fully funded by the commission. Each beneficiary was supposed to get 500,000 naira as take-up grant and $30,000 for tuition fee. However, a year after the scholarship was granted, the commission has not paid the scholars tuition fees, which many of them facing expulsion and subsequently deportation from the countries where they are studying. Findings also showed that the NDDC only paid the take-up grant of 500,000 naira about 8 months after the scholarship were awarded. Many Nigerians had expressed outrage at the Commission's negligence amid corruption allegations running into billions of naira leveled against it. A former acting managing director of the NDDC, Dr. Joy Nune, had accused the Commission's interim management committee of misappropriation of funds and alleged that the Minister of the Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, hijacked the forensic audit of the agency ordered by the President. Consequently, the National Assembly has separately conducted probes into the allegation that the IMC squandered over 81.5 billion naira between January and July of 2020. Nigeria on Friday recorded 329 new cases of the novel coronavirus, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control said. The health agency also reported 7 additional deaths to take the country's toll from the virus to 973. At least 35,999 persons have recovered from the disease as confirmed cases since the country started reporting in February stood at 48,445. In a characteristic fashion, Lagos reported the highest number of new cases among the states on Friday with 113 fresh infections. Kaduna emerged second with 49, and the FCT recorded 33 new cases. Other states with new cases include Plateau 24, Kano 16, Edo 15, Ogun 14, Delta 13, Osun 10, Oyo 8, Ekiti 6, Bayelsa 6, Akwa Ibom 5, Borno, Ebonyi 4 each, and Rivers 3, Ebonyi 3, Bauchi, Nasarawa, Gombe, and Niger, all with one case each. The National Judicial Council (NJC) recommended the appointment of 22 judges for the Supreme Court and other courts of the Federation. In a statement yesterday, NJC's Director of Information, Soji Oye, explained that the decision to recommend the appointment of the judges was taken at the second virtual meeting of the council, which held on August the 11th and 12th, respectively. The meeting was chaired by the NJC Chairman and Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Muhammad. A breakdown of the figures indicates that 4 of the judges are recommended as Supreme Court justices, 3 heads of court, 11 judges for state high courts, and 4 Qadis of the Sharia Court of Appeal. NJC recommended the judges to President Muhammadu Buhari and governors of the respective states for the appointment. A camp of Islamic State of West Africa province ISWAP fighters in Borno State have been destroyed, the military has said. The coordinator of Defense Media Operations, Major General John Eneche, confirmed this in a statement. He noted that the terrorist camp located at Tongule in the Lake Chad area of northern Borno was knocked out by the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole. NHA added that the airstrikes were conducted on Wednesday following credible human intelligence reports indicating terrorist activities in the village. He revealed that the operation, which was in continuation of the air offensive against terrorist elements in the northeast, resulted in the death of scores of the ISWAP fighters at the camp. Accordingly, following confirmatory intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions, which showed the presence of a sizable number of the ISWAP elements at designated locations in the settlements, the Air Task Force dispatched a force package of Nigerian Air Force fighter jets to attack the location. On the spot, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, commended the Air Task Force for their dedication and professionalism. He also urged them to intensify the air offensive against the terrorists and all other criminal elements in the country. Pro-Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Wale Babalaki, has insisted that the sacking of Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundipe as the school's Vice-Chancellor by the Governing Council was fair and followed due process. Some union members at the university had marched with Ogundipe on Thursday, protesting his sack as Vice-Chancellor, saying it did not follow due process. The university's Senate, after an emergency meeting on Thursday, also rejected the Vice-Chancellor's sack and passed a vote of no confidence on the Governing Council. However, at a press briefing held in Lagos, Babalakin reaffirmed the Governing Council's decision and accused Ogundipe of looting the university's resources. Babalakin said members of the council decided to remove Ogundipe because they want the best for the university. Babalakin further alleged that Ogundipe had been indicted for forging documents in recruitment processes. And going straight to the foreign scene, the U.S. Postal Service, USPS, has warned that millions of mail-in votes may not arrive in time to be counted on the presidential election day of November 3rd. In letters to states across the country last month, the agency said certain deadlines are incongruous with the Postal Service's delivery standard. Critics have blamed the new USPS head, a loyal supporter of President Donald Trump, for a slowdown in deliveries. A record number of people are expected to vote by mail due to the pandemic. But on Thursday, U.S. President Donald Trump said he was blocking additional funding for the USPS to help with election issues because he opposed mail-in voting. He has repeatedly said mail-in ballots will lead lead to voting fraud and give a boost to his rival Democrat Joe Biden. Experts say the mail-in voting system, which is used by the American military and by Trump himself, is safe from tampering. Former President Barack Obama strongly criticized what he described as Donald Trump's attempt to undermine the election, writing on Twitter that the administration was more concerned with suppressing the vote than suppressing a virus. And going straight to the world of sport, Barcelona midfielder Samuel Umtiti has tested positive for coronavirus, but is not with the rest of the squad for their Champions League match with Bayern Munich yesterday. The Frenchman is currently injured and tested positive at Barcelona's training ground on Thursday. Umtiti is the second player to test positive from Barcelona's squad away from their Champions League preparations after a player tested positive from Tuesday's round of testing. Barcelona said in a statement after the PCR test carried out on Thursday, the first-team player, Samuel Umtiti, has tested positive for COVID-19. The player is asymptomatic and he is in good health and is isolating at home. The club has informed the relevant sporting health authorities as well as tracing all the people who have had contact with the player so that they can undergo the corresponding PCR test. Barcelona's out-of-squad players had returned to pre-season training on Wednesday. And that'll be all on Yes News Now. But before I go, let me bring you a recap of the stories I brought to you earlier in the news. $62 billion oil revenue. Federal government's recovery efforts suffer setback. NDDC scholarship 10 days after Buhari's directive. Students' tuition still unpaid. Tribunal affirms election of Duoye Diri as Bayelsa governor. NJC recommends appointment of 22 judges for Supreme Court. And on the foreign scene, we brought you the news that Postal Service warns of delay in mail-in vote count in the U.S. And from sport, Barcelona's Umtiti tests positive for COVID-19. The news was produced and edited by Banker Bello Arilewo and delivered by Olatunde Ido. Many thanks for listening. The Yoruba version of Yes News Now comes up immediately after this. Thank you and good evening.